Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power of Up, your weekly boost of hope, perspective, and positivity. In a world that often pulls us down, this show is all about rising above. Hi, I'm your host, Chris Kellogg. And today, it's a tough one, but also one of the most important conversations we can have: how to deal with the idea of death. It's something we all know is inevitable, right? Yet most of us avoid talking about it. We push it aside or feel a wave of anxiety whenever we brush against the even thought of it, right? So let's slow down together, breathe, and walk through this subject. Not with fear, but with compassion, honesty, and maybe even a little bit of hope. You know, the fear of death has been around since the start of humanity, obviously. It's the great unknown, and our brains are wired to resist any kind of uncertainty. So for some, just the word death brings a lump in our throats. But there's something important. Fear doesn't always mean something is wrong. Fear can mean something is deeply important. Death can remind us that life matters. And sometimes simply naming the fear, saying it out loud, saying, yes, I'm afraid of dying, can take away some of its hidden power. So let's try this together. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and release it. Now say quietly to yourself, it's okay to feel uneasy about death. Because it's okay. It means you're human. Think about how different cultures view death. In Mexico, Dia de los Muertos celebrates it with bright colors, food, and stories about loved ones. In Buddhism, death is not the end, but a part of the cycle of rebirth. Some people see it as a return to peace, others as a family reunion, and some as simply the closing of a story. Now, you don't have to adopt someone else's beliefs, but you can let their perspectives remind you there are many ways to think about death, not just one fearful lens. If you could rewrite the way you think about death, what story would you tell yourself? Would it be a doorway, a transformation, a rest, or just something else? Here's the strange thing. When we face death, life actually can get brighter. Knowing that time is limited can sharpen our senses. Suddenly, the coffee can taste richer. The laugh with a friend feels deeper. Instead of being paralyzed by the thought of death, you can use it as fuel. Ask yourself, if I only had 1 year left, how would I spend today? Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. This isn't meant to create panic in your life. It's meant to give clarity. Death reminds us to prioritize, to let go of grudges, to speak love more often, to stop waiting for perfect timing because the perfect time is always right now. But let's be real. Sometimes the thought of death doesn't inspire us, right? It just brings us anxiety. Well, here are a few tools that can help. First of all, grounding techniques. When your mind spirals, focus on your breath, your breathing. Count 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you taste. This anchors you to the present. Number 2, talk about it. Death feels heavier in silence. Share your thoughts with a trusted friend, a counselor, or even a support group. You'll realize you're not the only one wrestling with these thoughts. And third of all, find meaning. Whether it's through faith, philosophy, art, or simply your daily actions, meaning gives context to mortality. You might not be able to answer every question, but you can create purpose in how you live. Remember, our goal isn't to solve death, and yes, I wish we could, but it's to soften our relationship with it. There's a saying, you die twice, once when your heart stops beating, and once when your name is spoken for the last time. That second part is where we live on, in the memories, stories, and loved ones we leave behind. So maybe the question isn't, how do I avoid death? But how do I live in such a way that my presence lingers, even when I'm gone? Look, death is certain, but so is life, right here, right now, in this moment that you're listening. And that's the invitation, not to run from death, but to let the awareness of it guide you back to living more fully. So take a breath, look around you, let gratitude soak in, because the best way to deal with the idea of death is to truly live. Yes, live your best life. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, Take care of yourself and take care of the life that's in front of you right now. And hopefully today you'll be able to reconnect with that great life with joy, purpose, and possibility. Whether you're navigating tough times or just need a lift, the power of up is here to remind you there's always a way forward and up.